And we continue at 107 in the afternoon. Talk Radio 790 KABC, the John Phillips Show, broadcasting live from the Morongo Casino Resort and Spa Living Room Studios, which today is in the state of Utah. Mr. Randy Wang's at the sports desk in Culver City.
John, we've been taking your requests at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com for any drops you would like an MP3 of, and we're getting a ton of emails. And what's interesting, John, is every single day there's a different favorite. Yesterday, hands down, we had so many people that wanted this drop from the girl that witnessed the high-speed chase.
Get out of my way.
Today, the most popular drop that I've gotten multiple requests for today is Janice Hahn.
That's your final warning.
You know, Christmas sure does come early for this audience.
All you got to do is email us at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com, and I'll email you an MP3 of anything that I've got from this show.
You know what we have to do? We have to find some kind of online tutorial where we post the video on the website so people can take these drops and figure out how to convert them into the sound that you hear on your smartphone when someone text messages you or calls you or they're calling you and they hear it instead of a ring.
You mean like the guy that turned his text message notification into this?
Next slide.
I think that would be popular, personally.
Maybe you could set it to individual callers so it's somebody that you don't like calling you, or maybe like scam artists. You could put Ed Laskos.
Enough already.
The possibilities are endless. 800-222-KABC is the telephone number, 1-800-222-5222. Do we have Alex?
No, we do not. Not answering his phone.
Right. Well, apparently he's got something better to do on a Friday.
Don't make me dig up the clip of Alex Michelson cursing on this show.
That happened when I was on vacation.
Yes, it did.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and open up the KABC Crime Blotter.
The Crime Blotter, you got it.
If the cashier is dummy.
Questions?
Well, typically, when we open up the Crime Blotter and God delivers gold, the dateline is Oakland. However, if I had to pick a city in the state of California that's a close runner-up, I would nominate Stockton. Because, Randy, Stockton always delivers.
That's right. Imagine you live in a quiet neighborhood in Stockton. You walk outside because you're ready to go to work for the day. You put your key in the door. You walk into your car. You start the engine. You put it in reverse. And you hear skids because you just realized your car is on cinder blocks and somebody stole your tires.
You know who that happened to once?
Who's that?
Jerry Brown.
Really?
Yeah. He was mayor of Oakland at the time, and I think he lived somewhere near Jack London Square. And he and the wife, Ann Gust, who is a clothing executive, I think at the Gap, they went on some trade mission to China. So they were gone for a couple of weeks. And they came back, and he is the source of the story, so it's not like I'm speaking out of school here. He said it publicly, in fact. And he said that they were in a taxi cab coming back from the airport, and they pulled around the corner from their house, and he saw his car sitting outside, and it was on 4 cement blocks. And he was the mayor at the time.
It's the only drops I have of Jerry Brown. I have 3 different Jerry Brown groaning. We've got groaning light, groaning classic, and new groan.
Well, he probably got all 3 when he saw his car on 4 cinder blocks.
For more on the cars that are getting their tires stolen in a neighborhood in Stockton, we go to KCRA 3.
That's right. Residents are very upset that this is happening in their neighborhoods. Today, we spotted 2 of the vehicles that were targeted, and one of them was right here on Cherryport Drive. And we're going to show you actually where this happened. The vehicle has since been towed away. It happened just a few moments ago. But down here, you can see the cement blocks that were left over. And from what we saw, these were used to elevate the cars underneath. And right now, Stockton police say they are doing everything they can to find any clues to help them find those recipients. responsible.
So does that mean the criminals arrived on the scene with dozens and dozens of cinder blocks in their pickup truck as they acted like a pit crew in this cul-de-sac?
Are cinder blocks produced for anything other than criminal activity? The only time I think I ever see cinder blocks are when a car gets their tires stolen and they're up on the cinder blocks, or in old-timey pictures where you've got some guy at the beach with a Raleigh Fingers mustache lifting these blocks at the beach.
Well, there's only one other purpose for cinder blocks. Stack them in the side of your yard where it's visible to the outside, and people won't mess with you because they think you're crazy.
Well, there's that.
It's upsetting. It's shocking. Residents of the Spanos Park West neighborhoods were in for quite the wake-up call Thursday morning. Shanna Hassan says her husband was on his way out to work when he discovered that the tires on her Honda were gone.
We went and checked our camera footage and found that it happened around 1:40. It was within 5 minutes.
That's got to be a real quiet thieving crew.
Oh, yeah, the tires on her Honda were Gonda.
All 4 tires were gone.
Hassan says she did not want to show her face on camera because she no longer feels safe. Just a couple of blocks away, another neighbor who was too distraught to speak on camera says she had to miss work that morning after finding her Honda elevated off the ground with cement blocks and the tires missing.
Now, if you have to call into work and say, the reason I can't come in today and I have to work remotely is that someone stole the tires off of my car, is your boss immediately going to believe you?
It seems like everyone in this neighborhood also drives a Honda.
Nearby neighbors worry that their vehicles...
It's Stockton. In Stockton, a Honda is like driving a Tesla.
No Nissan Altima?
Well, I can check for you. You think there might be a Nissan Altima that was also having their tires stolen?
Possible.
Let's find out. Let me just open up the file here, and let's see if there is a Nissan Altima.
There's an Altima ALTMA 4899410. Please move it now. You're blocking someone.
Unfortunately, John, that Altima ALTMA has its tires. Or I guess fortunately.
Nearby neighbors worry that their vehicles might be targeted next.
My truck's just parked right here, and so I kind of periodically just look out, plus I kind of keep it in the driveway with my ring and kind of keep track of it, but it's still exposed to what might happen.
Car alarms don't go off when someone jacks your tires?
Well, Stockton is one of these areas where I'm sure that just car alarms just randomly going off is just part of the soundtrack.
Others spent their day clearing out their garage to make space for their cars, saying they no longer feel safe parking them on the street.
Now that is a motivator right there. Do you know how difficult it is to get people to clean out the crap in their garage that they can actually fit a car in there?
That's going to take at least 4 Saturdays.
The garage is where people put things they don't want to deal with anymore. And you can cram and cram and cram. Eventually that garage is going to get full, but it is a fantastic tool to not have to deal with things.
Why do people do that? It's not like at some point you're going to climb across 4 rows of boxes to find something you need.
I guarantee there's nothing in my garage I need, and it is full of crap.
Others spent their day clearing out their garage to make space for their cars, saying they no longer feel safe parking them on the street.
We talk with our neighbors, and we might have to do like a neighborhood watch, be more vigilant.
Meanwhile,
although you won't be able to chase after them because nobody has a car.
Not anymore.
Meanwhile, victims are left doing the damage control.
Well, we have to, put in the insurance claim, pay the deductible, get it towed. So it's a lot of a hassle.
Stockton police are asking folks to just remain vigilant out here. Keep an eye out for each other. Keep an eye out on those surveillance cameras. They say that if anybody has anything, it's best to just keep an eye out for anything that...
How many eyes are we keeping out now?
No, that's not the problem. The problem is not identifying the fact that people are being the victims of crime. It's not even a problem identifying who is actually the one committing the crime. They're just not connecting the dots and doing anything about it.
that might help them out. And they're also suggesting that folks keep their cars in their garages if possible and to have those car alarms set. For now, reporting in Stockton, Josie Hart, KCRA 3 News.
Stockton police are now asking people to check their home security footage, and if they see something suspicious, they should call that in to police.
Okay, why are we even pretending that that's going to happen?
It's not.
I know someone who had any number of catalytic converters stolen in their parking lot. They have video surveillance and they have the people on tape. They called the cops to file a report. The cops came over. The business offered to provide the tape of the catalytic converters being stolen to the cops, and the cops said, "Don't worry about it. We don't need it." They know Gascon wouldn't do anything with it if they caught the people. They know that there's no cash bail. They've given up. They're waving the white flag. But for some reason, the news still seems to think that you've got these detectives out there working tirelessly trying to find them.
That is what's called a low priority crime. And when you have police staffing shortages in every single county in the state of California, low priority crimes mean no priority.
And half of these cities that we do these stories on, they don't even have a working 911 system anyway.
I mean, it's better than Oakland, but Stockton is still Stockton.
If you'd like to email the show, you can do so at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. And Randy, with the weekend just around the corner, if you want to listen to us, but there's no new shows on Saturday or Sunday, guess what? You can go back and listen to some of your favorite episodes.
That's right. All you got to do is go to kabc.com and click on podcasts, or go to the Apple Podcasts app. You go to iHeartRadio, Spotify, wherever you download podcasts. I bet if you search for The John Phillips Show, you're going to find it. You can also go on YouTube. Everyone knows how to use YouTube. Search for The John Phillips Show. I believe every hour that we do gets posted there. There are so many different ways to listen, and Johnny's right. If it's a Saturday or a Sunday, you pop on a John Phillips Show podcast, and you can pretend that it's
Monday,
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and
Friday.
In the meantime, what do you say we make a couple of listeners very happy?
Let's do that right now. 790 KABC welcomes Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin Evening at the Greek Theater on September 23rd. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com, but right now, caller number 9 at 1-888-790-5222 gets a pair of tickets to the show. Tickets furnished by Niederlander Concerts. Good luck dialing.
And Randy, next week, we're taking the show on the road.
That's right. A week from today, Friday, September 15th, we are going to be broadcasting live at the Gelson's in Century City. Gelson's in Century City at the Westfield Shopping Center has a wine bar, which means we got to be there because I like me some wine. We're going to be doing the show noon to 3 from the wine bar, so come on down, take some pictures with us, have lunch. They got a fantastic burger on the menu. Get a tasting maybe. Enjoy yourself. It's going to be a great time. It's going to be a beautiful day. We want to see you noon to 3 at the Gelson's in Century City. We're going to have T-shirts to give away, maybe some USC tickets, maybe even a dash cam. Come on down and see us. It's going to be a fantastic time. Noon to 3 at the Gelson's in Century City at the Wine Bar on Friday, September 15th.
Now, Randy, I love broadcasting and I love booze, but I don't mix the two together.
That is a very responsible rule.
Well, it's protective. You mix the two together, and let me tell you, things can come out of your mouth that'll get you canceled off of every social media platform.
Oh, I'm aware. I used to work for Frosty, Heidi, and Frank.
Randy, you put the word out that you're willing to send our sound drops to any listener who emails us at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com so they can have it for their own personal pleasure. And there is a specific drop that is becoming the most popular one.
That's right. And I was sure it was going to be the ladies from Reseda.
I know.
Or, of course, the drop that started it all.
If the cashier is dummy.
But today and yesterday, Janice Hunt is running away with this thing.
That's your final warning.
That puts a smile on my face every time I hear it.
It is just the perfect crystallization of how California works.
All right. The Vice President of the United States and former California Attorney General, Kamala Harris, is many things, one of which is clear.
She is so clear.
We are clear and have been clear.
And she was very clear on CBS News.
That's right. Kamala Harris doing an interview for Face the Nation that will air over the weekend. A little preview came out. Actually, first CBS News put out a preview, but apparently they edited it wrong, and it made her sound worse than she really did. So they put out the full version, so I'm sure she sounds great now.
I don't know why you would have to try to deceptively edit tape of her to make her look ignorant.
It could have been a innocent mistake. They were just trying to cut a short clip for time, but they didn't realize what they did. But let's go ahead and listen to Margaret.
You know, Randy, you can take the Dan Rather out of CBS News, but you can't take the Dan Rather ethos out.
Apparently not. Here is Margaret Brennan asking Kamala Harris about Republicans not attacking Grampy Joe, attacking her, because she could be the next president.
So you're 58 now. If you win a second term, as you and the president are running to do, he would be 86 at the end of it. And we are seeing Republican candidates hone in on you in particular as being next up for that job. Nikki Haley says a vote for Joe Biden is a vote for President Harris. Chris Christie, I want to be clear that I pray every night for Joe Biden's good health, not only because he's our president, but because of who our vice president is.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
We got a lane from Seinfeld.
Ron DeSantis, Harris is Biden's impeachment insurance. People know if she were president, batter the doors. As bad as Biden did, it would get worse. How do you respond to all of that?
We are delivering for the American people. And
can we get the energy up just a little bit?
Every time she answers a question, it's like she's in a cult, in a religious cult, and someone's doing a health and wellness check on her.
I mean, pretend like you're on the debate stage. You had no problem attacking people there, but it's almost like someone is telling her, don't go on the offensive here, just deflect to what our record is.
No, she practically called Joe Biden David Duke on that stage, and now all of a sudden she sounds like a debarked dog.
We are delivering for the American people. And the reality of it is that, unfortunately, very few of those who would challenge our administration actually have a plan for America.
Biden has more energy than this.
Maybe she took one of Jimmy Buffett's gummies.
You look at what we have accomplished, Margaret. We have created over 800,000 new manufacturing jobs in America, 13 million new jobs, unemployment at record lows. We have capped the cost of insulin for seniors at $35 a month. Capped the cost of prescription drugs on an annual basis at $2,000.
So that was a total dodge. How do you think
this is what she does, though? She never answers the question. She is the queen bee of never answering the question. Her approval numbers are at a record low for a vice president. Joe Biden's numbers, they're not in the toilet, they're at the sewage treatment facility. The question was a legitimate question. And it's not just Republicans saying this, by the way. Democrats would prefer to have a Democrat other than Joe Biden as their nominee, but they are not doing that because they know they'd get stuck with Kamala. This isn't a Republican criticism of the Biden administration. This is a criticism of the Biden administration that cuts across parties.
Let's see how she does in round two.
They're talking about
seniors.
What you would do as president as being a risk. They're honing in on you. Why do you think that is? How do you respond to those attacks? That's not about policy. That's about you.
Listen, this is not new. There's nothing.
Wait, what was that?
Play that again.
Listen, this is not new.
She has to open her mouth when she speaks.
What is she trying to say?
Listen, this is not new.
Listen, this is not new.
Maybe she's trying to emulate the Speaker Emeritus.
We love everybody.
You have to open your mouth when you talk. You know who never did that was Mary Madeline. Remember her? She was the one that was married to James Carville, and she was on CNN for a while. And, man, she could talk and talk and talk and talk and talk, and she never opened up her mouth when she did it. She could have been a ventriloquist.
Listen, this is not new. There's nothing new about that. I mean, listen, in my career, I was a career prosecutor. I was the first woman elected district attorney of San Francisco, a major city in this country, and reelected.
Are we filibustering with a Wikipedia biography?
Okay, what she's doing now is the reason that Joe Biden got stuck with her. Because this is what the California Press Corps did. Remember when we had Dan Walters on, the dean of the California Press Corps, and I asked him, did we not do our job covering her? And by we, I don't mean me, because we were sounding the alarm. But other people certainly didn't do their job. Most of the newspaper articles about Kamala Harris talked about firsts. She's the first woman. She's the first Asian. She's the first black person. She's the first this. She's the first that for this job or that job. And they never talked about how she ran the office. They never talked about whether or not she accomplished her goals, whether or not she got her results, what kind of manager she was, whether or not she was able to advance legislation or advance public policy. None of that ever got discussed. It was almost like that was totally irrelevant. And just talking about her biography and her accomplishments in terms of demography, that was good enough. And this is now what she's doing, because that's when she got all the praise. That's when she got all the love, when that was the subject. So the question is about their competence, and the answer is about demography.
In my career, I was a career prosecutor. I was the first woman elected district attorney of
She doesn't even sound excited talking about her own career.
No.
In my career, I was a career prosecutor. I was the first woman elected district attorney of San Francisco, a major city in this country, and reelected. I was the first woman attorney general of the second largest Department of Justice in the United States and reelected. I was a United States Senator. I represented 1 in 8 Americans, and I'm now Vice President of the United States. They feel the need to attack because they're scared that we will win based on the merit of the work that Joe Biden and I and our administration has done.
You know what she sounds like?
What's that?
Did you ever watch The A-Team?
Oh, yeah.
That was a great show. Man, the 80s produced great television. And the character, B.A. Baracus, played by Mr. T, was the enforcer. He was the guy you didn't want to get on the wrong side of. I specifically remember one scene. He was trying to sleep in the A-Team's van, and someone was banging on the van because they needed help. And they woke up Mr. T, and he opens up the door, and he goes, "Quit banging on my ride, fool." One of my favorite characters in all of television. But that character was afraid to fly. And whenever they had to fly to go someplace, they'd have to shoot him with a tranquilizer gun. And the final words that would come out of Mr. T's mouth before they scooped him up and put him on the plane sounded like he was legally drunk because he had the drugs in his system. She sounds like she just got shot by a tranquilizer gun.
In my career, I was a career prosecutor.
She does. Now, finally, it's time for the third round. Well, what do you say about all of the Democrats who say Grampy Joe is too old?
But even Democrats are worried about the president's age. The Wall Street Journal had a poll showing 2/3 of Democrats say Joe Biden is too old to run again. Are you prepared to be commander-in-chief?
Yes, I am, if necessary. But Joe Biden is going to be fine. And let me tell you something. I work with Joe Biden every day.
Can you sound excited about working with Joe Biden every day?
Yeah, if I work with Joe Biden every day, I'd sound like that too.
I work with Joe Biden every day. The work that under Joe Biden's leadership our administration has accomplished is transformative. what we have done. For years, administrations talked about what they would do in terms of Infrastructure Week. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Under Joe Biden's leadership, we have transformed and are in the process of transforming America.
That's three transforms.
The word is just coming out of her mouth like machine gun fire.
Autobots, roll out.
Because infrastructure, with an historic investment in not only roads and bridges, but high-speed internet, what we are doing around issues like lead pipes, and I could go on and on. What we have done in terms of 800,000 manufacturing jobs. What we have done to cap the cost of prescription medication. Many have talked about doing this. This is the work under Joe Biden's leadership that has actually been accomplished. And I think the American people, most of all, want a leader who actually gets things done.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what Joe Biden has accomplished.
So it's buzzwords, cliches, and real slow talking.
Whoever her handler is, she's doing everything they say.
Well, she's got to turn on the handlers then, because her poll numbers are awful.
I will repeat myself.
If you'd like to email the show, you can do so at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. And Randy, you are monitoring the mailbag.
Alan writes in at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. On the prospect of Nancy Pelosi running for re-election, Alan says Nancy Pelosi isn't going to retire because then she would have to live in San Francisco.
We love everybody.
It's been a very busy day for the mailbag, and that means Mr. Randy Wang has been spending some time in the mail room.
That's right. Karen writes in at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. Hey, John and Randy, I don't know if you knew this, but Karen Bass, before she was mayor, before she was in Congress, before she started Community Coalition, she went on tour with Robert Palmer in the 80s.
Doctor, give me the news. I got a bad case of loving you.
That's two 80s references this hour. Robert Palmer and the A-Team.
There you go.
We've got one more hour coming up on the John Phillips Show right here on Talk Radio 790 KABC.
Yeah.